Hi, beautiful people. This is Heidi and you're watching a Journey Now video, and today's video topic is going to be on the Lion's Gate. And so there might be some of us out there not really knowing what that means exactly. I mean, we're not all into astrology and following those types of energy flows within the universe. That's not everyone's bag, so to say, they say, like, we don't all get involved with that. However, that doesn't mean we aren't all drastically affected by these energies and these gateways and these portals. All of that affects us on so many levels, and if you're like me, you're sensitive, and that means we feel it so much, right, you guys? And I don't know about you guys, but I've been seeing lions everywhere. Like, talk about synchronicities. Lions everywhere as we are getting ready to enter into the highest frequency point of the Lion's Gate, the 8-8. And so right now they're already coming in. They want to talk about the Lion's Gate and how it applies to you in your ascension journey. And so they're wanting me to explain that the Lion's Gate is an energetic gateway that opens up your energetic alignment directly to source. And it is a fantastic opportunity to use these energies to really progress forward on your ascension path. And in particular, they say in recognizing your divine blueprint. They like to just call it your divine expression. And that is because everything that you are, everything that makes up you is and can be looked at as self-expression of the authenticated spirit, which is you and the many journeys that you've taken to really create this body, this spirit energy that is an encompassing amount of fractals that creates the whole of your soul. And so they're seeing that within this Lion's Gate, the opportunity that arises within these energetic waves that are coming in and blasting the planet and everyone on it, and of course everyone universally as well on a multidimensional spectrum, it is influencing everything. And so it is really an opportunity to dive in with courage, hence the Lion's Gate, courage and strength to persevere and to really refine your new 5D self within this experience that is the golden era, that is the new earth. And so it becomes quite relevant, especially when you are in attunement to being sensitive to these galactic energies. It really becomes relevant at the point of the Lion's Gate to, again, really release all of that shadow work we've been doing up until now. And by that, what I mean, what they mean, they say is you will be seeing during this time of the Lion's Gate an increasing amount of attention is being refined within yourself towards your blueprint, your goals, your path, your alignment. And so this can look so different for every single being that when we start to refine and look inward and become in awareness, that's what they want to say, full awareness of the potentials of this gateway, we can go in, see all that has been, all that isn't working, all that is being removed. And that's a pressing point. You are going to be able to focus during these times, and this can be not comfortable, can be comfortable. It really depends on the person. You're going to be reflected. You're going to be looking at honestly, on a physical level as well, you can visually, some of us, see the shadow on the physical being if you look in your bathroom mirror. So some of us are seeing it on a physical level, we're feeling it emotionally in so many areas, and it becomes a key point of personal awareness on your shadow self work and what you are in the process of releasing. And so it comes up, you guys. I have to say that again. It comes up, and it really can look like a lot of bad feelings, a lot of old. It's not even bad, it's old. It's all the things that you in particular have been trying to work at within yourself, trying to refine things that you have said, okay, this isn't serving me, this isn't serving me any longer. These are the characteristics of me now that I would like to remove, to step out of, and to honestly admit that these things are not going to be coming with me. And so we can literally see, they're showing the butterflies again, and I often do refer to the butterflies because that is what we are. Essentially here in this carnation, in this carnate humanoid form, we are literally the butterflies coming out of the cocoon, except that there's many, many cocoons to come out of. It's not just one. It's not like some grand event that you do one time, you come out of your cocoon, you're the butterfly. It's many, many cocoons that you're breaking out of. And each butterfly is more beautiful, more colorful, and the word of the day, more refined than the last one, until we get to our 5D avatar selves. And so in a way, they want me to assure you, they're saying, because they're tapping the heart space, please rest easy with this information. Please understand that what you are feeling, because there is a huge influxation in the pain body, because that is, again, what that refined shadow work of the Lion's Gate, again, looks like. You can have, I'm not kidding you here, physical symptoms flaring up that are aesthetically not pleasing. You could be looking at dermatitis that you've and again, it's so different for everyone. You could have been a person suffering from many forms of dermatitis, you know, rashes, eczemas, acne, all those things, dull skin, oily skin, all of the skin conditions, you could see them enhanced, or if you've never had them before, they can simply rise up out of nowhere and you can be like, well, that's new. But it is simply the cellular detoxing of the shadow work. And they're telling me that it wouldn't even be possible to discard this, it's cellular debris. It wouldn't even be possible to discard it if you didn't see it on the way out. And so some of us are getting alarmed right now as we are, it's almost like, okay, so for lack of a better way to explain this, and the only way that I can really hit upon what I'm trying to describe with the information coming through to me is like watching a horror movie and seeing it all in your face again. It's going to flare up on the way out, and it can make you feel every single bad feeling, bad thought pattern, belief about yourself that you have been carrying, that you have worked on, or is still needing to be worked on, little remnants of those works that are on the way out, that are being re-brought up because there's more work to do. And this is in particular relevance to the Lion's Gate. If you have little pieces of work left that are coming up and surprising you because you're thinking, I thought that was done, please don't get worked up and upset because you thought it was over. Realize that tiny little remnants, it's like refining, tweaking, little tidbits that are coming up that are left that have maybe these tiny points that need to be addressed before they can fully come up and be released permanently. And so there's so many layers there that it really becomes impossible to judge your own ascension and progression based on anyone else's. And so again, and they have said this many times, do not be watching YouTube videos and people's advice and people's healing works. Do not be watching these things, taking these informations, and it's the be-all end-all of it. Everything looks different to every single person. Every piece of information is going to become consciously it's targeted specifically to you. And so if you're watching people and they're telling you what you need to do for the Lion's Gate, they're telling you where you should be, what you should be noticing from the Lion's Gate, don't get caught up in the comparison, because there should be none. There should be none. It's not ever going to be the same for anyone, in that we are completely different, every one of us. So literally go inside during these huge galactic energy points and focus on your own intuition, your own guidance system. And it's a beautiful thing to watch people explain things, in that you are allowed and capable of grabbing your own information from these outlets. That is all. You take what you want, you leave what you don't like or what doesn't resonate with you. That's all there is to it. So more on the Lion's Gate. What is actually going on, because this is 2019 now, they want me to say, so you got to be kind of aware that when you're talking, every moment of an explanation is going to be new. So they're saying it isn't that this Lion's Gate is way more important than last year's Lion's Gate, than the one before. It is just that last year we weren't sitting at an energetic conscious awareness where we are as a collective human race this year in the Lion's Gate. And what that means is that this year in the Lion's Gate, I'm telling you, we all know, if you think back in the past year, and the amount of energies that have been going on and processing, and the amount of movement and progression we have all made on this planet, if you look back just on the past year, from last year's Lion's Gate to this year's Lion's Gate, do you see the amount of forward momentum, the amount of shadow work? All of that stuff that you have been undergoing takes you to this point now where at a collective level, we have a higher opportunity to get more higher vibrational frequencies out of the Lion's Gate collective. We are at a conscious level sitting higher, meaning that we can get higher levels of data. That's simply what they're trying to explain. So that means that this Lion's Gate is monumental in its ability to push you, to drive you, to make you look inside, find your own lion, and that of course means courage, passion, self-awareness. This becomes owning your power, and there is no louder way that we can voice our authenticity than in encapsulating the energies of the lion. So take that energy and do something with it, even if it is just because it's your time to relax, because you're having a hard time processing the energy. Just relax. If you feel driven to do something, do something. It really comes down to, what do you need to be doing to make this Lion's Gate energy the most efficient and most effective to you. And so they're wanting me to address that with every Lion's Gate, there is a need for change. And I mean, all shadow work really does require and revolve around change. But the Lion's Gate in particular is about, when they say the refinement thing, word of the day, change, refining your idea of knowing now more who you fully are. Now you make the refinements, the change necessary to step into that path more fully. So it can mean changes in diet, changes in jobs, changes in relationships. And what we really get from the Lion's Gate is a whole lot of movements, a whole lot of catalyzation into the forward momentum of our blueprints. So what is your blueprint? And we're all at different stages right now in our development. That's what it is. It's development. So what we need to be doing at these times is focusing on what is coming up in this Lion's Gate. Creatively speaking, they're saying that is your soul's essence. Are you noticing things that you like and more? Like if you're a creative, are you feeling the draw towards painting? Are you feeling the draw towards sewing? Are you feeling the draw towards woodwork? These things are like little mini triggers that if you are actually aware during the Lion's Gate, you can actually touch more upon your true divine blueprinting by zoning in on those little pings of creativity. So depending where you're sitting, you might already be fully embracing your authentic creative self, or you might still be fishing around. What is my true authentic self? Either way, if you start to actually spend the time with yourself, now is the ideal time to hook, line, and sinker, start reeling in your essence, your divine, true, creative blueprints. And actually, I mean, some of us are going to be sitting there saying, I'm not creative, I'm not artistic, but in honest terms here that they want me to really press upon you guys right now, everything that you do in this life that is an expression of your joy, your divine bliss, the 0 point, anything that brings that, it's like a racing in the heart, like a quickening. The more sensitive that you are and become, you can literally feel energy racking up and down your body. You can follow it from a point, from toe all the way up, from, my elbow here, I feel this. And once you become more capable of zoning in on the energy points in your body that are flaring up, you become more capable of self-description and, again, more capable of the shadow work. So the Lion's Gate is really just a vast amount of individual creation, because the Lion's Gate is a portal of creation of the creator source energy. It is so packed full. It's almost like when we eat candy versus we eat fruit. So packed full of dense nutrients that allow us, again, to catalyze into our new blossomed butterflies that we've been working on. It's like when they say you sow the seeds that you've planted are rising, that's that butterfly coming out. So what you have been doing for the past year, you are really going to see come out as a conclusion to this Lion's Gate term, because everything astrologically has a time frame in that alignment. And so by the time we hit the 8th, which is the pinnacle point, the highest vibratorial field of the Lion's Gate is on the 8th, but it does go past the 8th. Once we hit that final point of the Lion's Gate for this year, we should be looking at, on whatever level, major changes in the way that we look at ourselves, the way we treat the people around us in our lives, the way we live our lives, how we're living our lives, where we're living our lives. Like, there is no limit to the amount of change that we can see coming at the end of this gate. So please embrace it, love it, and self-love, self-love, self-love through it. If you're having a hard time transitioning with the amount of energy, please ground into Gaia. Do whatever you can to ground yourself. That will just make it easier. Again, as well, if you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing physical symptoms arising, or your pain body is, again, massive, you know, old things that have bad backs, bad hips, all those things are flaring up, it isn't to be looked at like you've regressed. In fact, this is a major sign of massive progression. So they're telling me that that is really good enough for an explanation, and they'd like to get on with, they're going to give us an activation today that is going to allow us to make the most of our time with this Lion's Gate energy this year. And it's going to allow you to get the most that you can within your own field of change. And it's also going to help to ground these energies and move them through you in a calmer fashion, because it can really be highs and lows on a grand scale. It can feel almost like emotional sabotage if you've been doing really well and you're at the bottom again now, because the energies have caused you to rise and fall. It can be very confusing. So this is what this activation is going to do. It's really going to allow us to get the most that we possibly can out of the gate. Here we go. Love and light. Mwah. Nothing that you need to do. Again, this is light language code. This is actually energetic alchemy that comes out. You don't need to do anything. This is going to basically permeate and go into every cell, every molecule within your being, and that is going to it's going to branch into every layer of the self. So we have our physical, we have our emotional, we have our spiritual, our etheric. We have so many fields of energy. This is going to permeate at a cellular level and into every molecule possible, that expansion and that allowance to embrace the Lion's Gate and make it mean something to us at its highest potentiality. So here we go, guys. Everybody breathe in, and we just want to step into that heart space and let the activation take place. Here we go. And there's lots of rose-colored light coming in. That's the self-love, because when we go through these changes, we really need to amplify the self-love so that we can ground. Self-love is a very grounding and can be very soothing and calming to the up and downs that we face when we're actually challenging ourselves within these energetic freedoms. They want to call it. It's like energetic freedoms. We basically are uncaging, unshackling cell by cell the many layers that have been oppressed and that have been integrated in a manipulative fashion. And this does include, they're saying within this transmission, removal of implants that we just can't seem to get rid of. These implants, of course, we'd have to go back to the beginning of it all, which really finds us on this path, right, of ascension to begin with. How did this all start? Well, this is taking us all the way back to the beginning, and those implants have been in us for so many lifetimes and for so long that we have been carnating on Gaia herself. So this is going to help to really take those implants and get rid of them. We really need to do more of that. They're saying this is actually pressing work right now within these times, is the removal of the implants and the negative patterning that doesn't even belong to us. So this just helps to sweep through the cells, removing any of that leftover. It's like the leftovers. And we should find ourselves at the end of this gate in a much easier time. A much easier time, even if it doesn't look like that, because they say easier times can look like the collapse of paradigms, which again isn't always comfortable, but it is going to be change for every one of us that is going to see us closer to our goals. It's going to get that forward momentum going within our blueprints of what we said we were going to do, what we must be doing towards working within our divine gifts. This is going to activate DNA that is necessary at this time, because there still are lots of us who aren't even awake yet on the planet. There are so many of us that are still just beginning to unfold into this awareness. So no matter where you are on your journey, no matter what level that we're sitting at, we are all getting something from the Lion's Gate and from within this transmission. And please, they say, do drink lots of water after these activations, especially if you feel queasy. Sometimes this can make you feel almost like you've been on a fair ride. Water and breathing, two key elements when it comes to integrating activation work. I can feel it ending now. Always tons of work to be done on the throat and the heart. We all hold a lot of blockages in those two chakras. Of course, the heart would be one of the most relevant places, especially when we're trying to integrate change at a cellular level. They're saying you can almost see it as the Grinch. If you guys have watched the classic Grinch, where it shows his coal heart, right, bursting into the green. We really got to remove those layers of coal. We got to bust out. And that's what this is doing right now. Deep breath in, you guys. Namaste. Love and light. Thank you for being with us today. I hope this helps you within your Lion's Gate journey of this year. Many blessings to you all. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and move the message forward. Mwah. See you next time. Bye.